Today we're talking about a topic that seems a little daunting at first, but trust me, it's one of the most important things that you'll learn for safe travels or living in China. We're talking about how to call emergency services in Chinese. A few years ago, I moved to the US, and the thing that freaked me out the most was making phone call. It felt like every word was a high-stakes performance. Calling 911, forget about it. But one night, a car sat outside of my building at 2 a.m., honking and circulated the community for 30 minutes, and I finally bit the bullet and dialed 911. That experience taught me that having a plan is what makes all the difference, and I want to give you the plan. Welcome to the Mandarin Insights Show. This show is where you Chinese gets real world ready. I'll first introduce the number that you should dial and the key vocabulary for each number. And please stick with me till the end because I'm going to share a 4-step template that's going to work in any emergency.
First things first, let's start with the numbers. In the US, you dial 911 for any emergency. In China, there are many different numbers. The most used are 110 for the police department, 120 for emergency medical services, and 119 for the fire department. Let's learn how to say them in Mandarin Chinese. 110, 120, 119. Here's one thing you might have noticed. Number 1 in Chinese is usually pronounced as 1, but when we say 1 in a phone number, we say 1 for 1, not 1.
You need to practice and know these numbers very well. In an emergency, if you don't know what to say, you can just yell 打110 or 打120, 打119 to a stranger, and they would call for you.
When a situation involves multiple threats, for example, a crime with an injury, you should call each emergency number separately. First, dial the number for the most immediate threat to life. Hang up, then immediately dial the next number. If a thief pushed someone, causing him to fall and hit his head, and he became unconscious, thief stole his backpack and has now run away, your first call would be to 120 for the injury and your second call to 110 for the theft. This ensures the right help is dispatched as quickly as possible without any delay.
Now let's build vocabulary for each of these numbers. First, the vocabulary for 110, the police department. These are all about crimes and threat. Read after me. 偷东西、抢劫、入室盗窃、打架、跟踪。If a weapon is involved, you need to use these words. 武器、刀、斧子、棍子。By the way, there are too many words and you can't remember. I prepared a printable guide with all the vocabulary written out with pinyin and English translation. Link is in the description. Next, the keywords for 120, emergency medical services. Read after me. 昏迷、呼吸困难、流血很多、受伤、胸口疼. And these words describe what happened to the patient. 摔倒、被车撞了、烧伤、呕吐. And finally, the keywords for 119, the fire department. 着火了、有浓烟、燃气泄漏、被困、有人被困. And here are useful phrases to handle language barrier. The dispatcher may speak very quickly, and you can use these sentences to slow them down. 我中文不好，请慢点说. To ask if there's anyone who speaks English, you can say, 有没有会说英语的人? Ask dispatcher to say that again. 请再说一遍. Now that you have the vocabulary, let's put it in a 4-step template.
When the call connects, the dispatcher will most likely say, 你好，工号某某某，请讲. That means, hello, my employee number is this number, please speak. This is simply their way of identifying themselves and inviting you to state your emergency. Now that you know what to expect, you can immediately get to the point. Step 1, the urgent request. Start by clearly stating what you need. This immediately signals to the dispatcher that this is an emergency and you need their help. For 110, you can say 我需要警察. For 120, 我需要救护车. For 119, 我需要消防车. And step 2, location and situation. Immediately follow up with your location and a concise description of what happened. If you don't know the exact address, use a major landmark. 我在 and at location. 我 or 有人. So it's saying I'm at this address or this landmark and there's this situation. Chinese addresses are structured from the largest geographical area down to the smallest. This big to small system is crucial for a dispatcher to quickly locate you. You need to provide the information in the following order. City, for example, 上海市, Shanghai City. District, 闵行区, the district of 闵行. Street number, 东川路500号, 500 Dongchuan Road. Building number, 10号楼, building number 10. Unit number, if any, 2单元, unit number 2. Room number, if any, 201室, room 201. And you can also mention a nearby landmark to help them find you faster. For example, 我在上海南站, I'm at Shanghai South Railway Station. For example, this is what you can say if you don't know the exact address. 我在上海南站, 有人抢劫. I'm at Shanghai South Railway Station. There's a robbery. Step 3, people and conditions.
Once given the location, provide details that help responders to prepare.
有多少个人受到影响？他们的状况是什么？有什么危险？How many people were influenced? What are their conditions? And if there's any immediate threat.
Now, this step is where things can get a little bit complicated, and it's hard to have a concrete template for every single condition. Every emergency is unique. The goal isn't to say a long, perfect sentence, it's to communicate the facts. If you feel overwhelmed, just fall back onto the keywords we practiced.
So simply stating 浓烟, 被困, heavy smoke, and being trapped are powerful and effective. If you want to describe this situation in full sentence, you can say 我和另外5个人被困，有浓烟，我们无法呼吸。I and 5 others were trapped. There's heavy smoke and we cannot breathe.
And it's also very important to be able to describe the people involved, including their age, gender, and other physical characteristics. But it's a whole other topic with its own complexities. I'll save how to describe people for a future episode to keep this one concise. And the last step, contact an urgency. Provide your phone number and ask them to come quickly.
So this is the sign off. So let's try a real world example. Imagine you're at a restaurant and your wallet has been stolen. Here's exactly what you would say. 我需要警察。我在朝阳区东大街500号。我钱包被偷了。没有人受伤，小偷逃走了。我的电话是150-2117。请快点来。
This episode provides the essential phrases and a simple plan you need to overcome the language barrier during a crisis in China. Don't forget, there's a free printable guide of today's episode link in the description. And Monday, October the 6th, is one of the most important festivals for Chinese people, the Mid-Autumn Festival, 中秋节. And next week, I'll talk about basic greetings and small talk topics that you need around this time of the year to connect with your Chinese friends on a deeper level. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week.